Guys, it's Elizabeth, Finding Elizabeth, and I'm here again for my second video of the night. And this is actually the third time I've answered these questions. I did it once last night on The Naked Truth. I did it once right before this when my phone crashed in the middle. And so maybe the third time is a charm and I'll get it right this time. So, The Naked Truth last night was, the topic was, I need Botox, man. Okay, anyway, was dating and intimacy post weight loss surgery. Lauren Dayton was supposed to be our guest. She got sick. So I decided I would take on the question since I've been dating post weight loss surgery too. I'm sure her answers would have been much more entertaining than mine, but I guess mine were so unentertaining that somehow the Naked Truth video disappeared. So I thought there were some really great questions. There were things that I had struggled with and wanted to know people's thoughts on. And because it seems like, I don't know, it seems to me in the video making community, there are many more married people than single people. So I wanted to take a hand at answering some of these questions. Like I said, Lauren's answer is probably far more entertaining than mine, but I'm going to give you my perspective as, a almost 50-year-old woman. That's the part. 50. Yeah. Or 200 pounds. I'm not sure what that comes from. Probably a little bit of both. Anyway, so I just want to respond to some of these questions that people had because I thought they were really great questions. In terms of my relationship history, pre-op, I was married twice, once for a very short period of time, once for a very long on and off period of time. And I always had relationships up until my son was born. Well, and then, his dad and I were in a relationship. But when he and I split up, I did not date for a while. That's when I put on the majority of my weight. And I did date someone who was part of the fat admirers community. So someone who was attracted to, and particularly this person was attracted to women who were super morbidly obese. And sometimes he watches, so if you're watching, hello. And we dated for about a year and a half. He was a great guy. We're still friends. And that was probably, we dated for about a year and a half. We broke up probably 3 years before I got weight loss surgery. So in those 3 years, I wasn't dating anybody. And I was fairly considerably overweight at 400 pounds. So one of the questions that we had was, do you get different attention from men now than you did before? I just feel like I have to do something to minimize this because it's really bugging me tonight. Sorry. I can't help it. I don't like getting old. What was I saying? Attention, more attention from men after I lost 200 pounds. What do you think? Yeah, probably. Just a little bit more attention from men. Yeah, and how do I handle it? None of it has been obnoxious. I've never gotten obnoxious attention. My two favorite men attention stories, which all of us I think once I started dating post-weight loss surgery in September, so I was like 18, that was about 18 months post-op. And once I started dating and started getting a little sense that, number one, men found me attractive, and number two, that there was a little bit of a powerful thing to have that ability to have men find you attractive. Many of you may have already known that forever. Even when I was younger and thinner, I didn't feel like I had that. But my two favorite stories of attention, once I started dating, and neither one of them were dates, but one of them was not that long ago. I was going to an event. I didn't know what the food was going to be. I was hungry. I thought, well, let me stop at Subway and get a salad before I go. Get in line at Subway. There's a guy behind me. I order my stuff, and as I'm leaving, he goes, no, let me pay that. Let me pay for that for you, just because you're so gorgeous. Okay, who doesn't like that? That was very nice. That put a pep in my step for 3 or 4 days after that. I only sort of wish maybe I'd been in a jewelry store buying something more than a $5 salad, but that was very nice. And another time I was at Home Depot, and I was trying to put something big and heavy in the trunk of my car, and this guy literally sprinted across the parking lot to help me put it in my car. So, how do I handle it? I like it. It's fun. Like I said, never had any obnoxious, unwanted attention that I couldn't deal with, and it's been fun. So that's my take on the attention. What else do we have? So, like I said, I started dating in September, so 4 or 5 months ago. The first person I met was here in Southern California. I met him off of Craigslist. I have never been a big fan of like the Match and eHarmony things because I thought they took for freaking ever to meet anybody. If you ever did meet anybody, yada, yada, yada. So I met this first guy on Craigslist. Everyone else I met on Tinder, which I'm a huge proponent of and I have spoken about multiple times. But so meet this guy on Craigslist. We have a conversation. We probably met on a weekend, or met online. So we're talking on a weekend, made plans to go out the following weekend. Talked on the phone a few times in between, and in my head I'm like, do I tell him I had weight loss surgery? I don't know. I mean, it's such a huge part of my life. How can I not tell him I had weight loss surgery? And I wasn't even thinking at that point about the whole loose skin and more. I was thinking about something that Jen RNY for me just did a video, or was part of the video that she did over the weekend, where she talked about prior to dating her current boyfriend, she dated someone, they had gone on several dates, it was going well, and she told him that she had weight loss surgery. His response was that he got freaked out. She asked him, is that because I was fat enough to get weight loss surgery, or because you're worried I'm going to gain the weight back? And his response was both, and she kicked him to the curb, which was good for her, as she well should have, because now she's met a really great guy. But those were my fears, is that somebody would judge me based on that and say, oh my God, you were that fat, or oh my God, you, maybe you're going to gain the weight back. So I was up in the air about telling this first guy that I had weight loss surgery. Then when he was picking a restaurant to go to, he said, oh, are you going to be like girls usually are and not eat anything, on your first date? And I was like, well, yeah, but not for the reason you think. And so I told him. He seemed fine with it. That was a really short-term thing. Did not last very long at all. It really never came up again. Started using Tinder when I was in London. The reputation that I always thought Tinder had was as a hookup app. I had it on my phone here. There was one memorable book group night where we spent the night with Betty Lou Who in particular telling me things that I should respond to people on Tinder with. Not a good idea. Had to take it off my phone after that for a while. But anyway, my thought was it's a hookup app. Well, I decided to use it in London, where I thought, well, maybe guys are classier here. Used it in London. Met a really great guy, smart, funny, attractive. I was in London for a week. We spent some time together. When I was getting ready to meet him for the first time, I said, I know this has the reputation of being a hookup app. I just want you to know that that's not what my intention is. And he was like, that's not really what it is, at least not in this age group. And that's been the experience that my other friends who've been using it have had as well, who are my age group. I don't know about the 20s, but in the, little older age group. So I probably met 8 people on Tinder, with the exception of one. And at first appearance, he would seem to be a decent guy too. But with the exception of one person, everybody that I met has been a quality person. Even if there wasn't chemistry, they are likely somebody I would be friends with. For a period of time, I was dating multiple people on Tinder, which that had never happened to me before in my life, where I was going out with multiple people at one time. And then in November, I met someone that I really liked, and relatively soon after that, I just decided I didn't want to date other people. So, dating one person now. And here's the thing. Okay, so then the next question is the loose skin thing. You meet and talk to somebody, they see you in clothes. It's sort of like what they're, they're not getting what they think they're getting. That had really not bothered me or crossed my mind much with most of the people I met. Of course, not everybody that I met was, seeing my loose skin, for sure. But it just didn't, I don't know, it didn't bother me. I don't know why. It probably should have, but it didn't. However, the person that I'm dating now, it was actually probably like 2 weeks before we actually met in person, because he lives a little far away. And so there have been lots of pictures exchanged, and I think you guys know I can take a good selfie. Trust me, you meet me in person, I look way, way better in my selfies than I do in person. And so as it started to get closer to meeting him, I got pretty nervous about that. And I actually reached out to Jen RNY for me because I knew she had recently started dating someone, and she made me feel much, much, much better about it. But so like the day before I was supposed to go up there, I texted him because I was too chicken shit to say it on the phone. I texted him and said, I need to tell you something. I have lost a lot of weight. I did not tell him how much. I do not think he would have even remotely. I don't think generally if somebody meets me and I say I lost a lot of weight, they would think I lost 200 pounds. I don't think I look like I lost 200 pounds just because, I mean, I'm fortunate and also because I've worked out a lot. So I said I've lost a lot of weight. I didn't say I had weight loss surgery. I've lost a lot of weight. I work out a lot. And I intend on having plastic surgery at some point. But, you know, right now my body looks like somebody who's lost a lot of weight. So I just want to give you the heads up on that, you know, the pictures I've sent you have been the most flattering possible pictures. And he had a really great response. So that was wonderful. Put me at ease a little bit. But, you know, it's one thing to say that before you meet somebody. It's another thing after you meet them. And it has not at all been an issue with him at all. And I feel very fortunate in that respect. I mean, I don't even really think about it so much. I mean, sometimes occasionally I will catch sight of myself and not be that thrilled with it, but it doesn't bother me. And I said this on The Naked Truth that it, you know, in many instances, it can be your partner's response that's going to determine how you feel about it and how comfortable you feel with this body you have, whether you're married or single. I mean, I think it's worse when you're just meeting somebody for the first time and they don't already love you. But I know for me that I wasn't uncomfortable about it until it was with somebody that I thought that I really liked. Then I was uncomfortable about it for like 5 minutes, and it just has not been an issue, which makes me feel great. I still want to have plastic surgery. But so it's not so much an issue for me right now. And the other thing is, I did tell him I had weight loss surgery. I told him on our first date within a few minutes. And, you know, it doesn't really ever come up again. And that is so bizarre because it is such a huge part of my life. I mean, he knows about The Naked Truth and stuff like that. And I talk about it a little bit. But, like, he doesn't, I mean, it's just not a discussion. And with everybody else in my life for so long, it was such a discussion. And maybe, like, I don't know, 3 weeks or so after I met him, I had posted a, you know, before and after picture on Facebook that was pretty, I mean, my before and after pictures are pretty impressive. And I decided to send it to him. And I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, but I did. And then as soon as I hit send, I was like, oh my God, what did I just do? Well, within, you know, moments, he sent me back a very, very sweet and wonderfully supportive message. So anyway, that's my personal experience so far with loose skin and being nervous about it. Amy had asked, can you get out of your head about it? And I'll tell you that the first time I could not get out of my head about it. It was all I could think about. But really now it doesn't bother me. But I know it's not helpful to say, okay, it's because of the person you're with who's making you feel confident about it, which I guess the confidence should come from within me. But if I had somebody who, you know, went, ew, or whatever, I mean, no, I'm going to feel worse about it. But so that's my experience and what I have going on with that. I think those were the big questions. Oh, Amy had also asked, how do you feel when a partner touches a part of your body that you aren't comfortable with? Yeah, it doesn't bother me so much, and I think part of that was my experience actually dating someone who was attracted to super morbidly obese women, because with him, I got comfortable with the idea of touching things like my belly or whatever, because he liked that. So I think I got comfortable with that then. But I noticed that I am always wanting to put clothes on. And just because it doesn't look that great, it's not that flattering. But again, I don't know, the person I'm dating with is just very kind and supportive, and makes me feel pretty beautiful, which is a nice thing. Okay, I really do think that's it. Oh, somebody asked about, and I don't know about FUPA. I'm not the expert about that. Ask Lauren. She has clitoral piercings. Not that that's FUPA, but I don't know. And what about sex drive? Many people talk about hormonal fluctuations. I just found like sex had been so out of my mind for so long that yes, once it wasn't about weight loss surgery so much as once I start engaging romantically with people that yes, my sex drive was way boosted up. Okay, 15 minutes, not too long after 15 minutes, and I finally have this finished. So you guys have a great week. We're going to redo this show with Lauren where we talk about this stuff. It'll be way more entertaining than me, but you guys had some great questions, and I wanted to take a few moments to answer them and give you my perspective. All right, talk to you later. Bye.